Hey everyone, Chakras from LeBlanc here. Welcome to another iteration of Pro Play. Last time we looked at some alternative starting items, and today we're taking a look at LeBlanc in competitive matches after the patch 7.5 nerfs. So as you're probably aware, LeBlanc was hit by heavy nerfs back on patch 7.5, targeted at Distortion, heavily reducing its base damage and AP ratio on both the normal and the mimic version of the spell. This was also 2 patches after early game nerfs to her Sigil of Malice damage. With these changes, many thought LeBlanc was done for, and even her solo queue stats reflected this as well. Her win rate dropped massively, over 10% in some brackets. Her ban rate progressively decreased, down from one of the most banned champions to a meager 2 to 3% ban rate, and her popularity went down as well. She disappeared from bans momentarily, but the hiatus didn't last long and she was back on the Rift in no time. Alongside the Distortion nerfs, 7.5 also gave LeBlanc a buff to Shatter Orb, increasing its damage to minions from 40 to 80%. These changes were massive as they heavily increased her wave clear with Shatter Orb's damage. LeBlanc gained the ability to fully clear waves from very early on, marking minions with Sigil of Malice by using Distortion onto them and then throwing out a single Shatter Orb to clear them all. Even then, much of her damage was gone from her kit, but she still retained traits that are very attractive in a mage's kit. She has high mobility with Distortion, and good catch potential with Ethereal Chains in addition to better wave clear. The logical step from there was to increase her damage through other means, basically getting items that have damage passives and actives and make up for lower ratios. LeBlanc players then started to integrate Hextech Revolver into the build, in order to increase combo damage after using Q and E with a powerful auto. Exile from the Unicorns of Love started picking up Protobell to give her extra damage while also gaining access to an extra dash and cooldown reduction. The majority of players, however, went towards Hextech Gunblade. The item can definitely feel weak before completion, especially given that LeBlanc makes little use of the Bilgewater Cutlass stats. Once completed, however, LeBlanc gains access to sustain through Gunblade's passive, extra burst damage with its active, and also catch potential, as the item's 40% slow makes it then very easy for LeBlanc to land an Ethereal Chain on a slow target and take him out. The other huge advantage of Gunblade is that the active's damage scales with your build, as it has a 30% AP ratio. So, when do you build Gunblade? Most players in professional play so far have been straight up rushing the item, while a select few prefer to sit on Revolver and finish Gunblade later, when they have more AP to increase the active damage. Alongside Gunblade, Lichbane has also started to show up frequently in LeBlanc's build. Same idea as before, to increase damage through item passives and actives, and once again, similarly to Gunblade, Lichbane's passive also has an AP scaling. Most LeBlanc players currently are grabbing Lichbane and Gunblade together, although others still like to grab Morellonomicon in order to have more cooldown reduction for more damage rotation in extended fights. In terms of playstyle, the 7.5 changes and subsequent itemization adaptations changed the way LeBlanc is played as well. In the early game, LeBlanc's laning phase is definitely much less of a threat than she was before. She uses Distortion mostly to hit minions instead of her lane opponent, and then uses Shatter Orb to clear the wave. The added wave clear then means that she now has the push advantage in more matchups, which can translate instead to early roams into a side lane or coordinating invades with her jungler, as she will have the inside track over the enemy laner more often. Going into mid game, these changes also made her a better side lane threat. She can push side lanes faster now, and thus keep pressuring her opponent. The sustain from Gunblade allows her to stay in a side lane for longer, going for trades and then healing back up off of minions, and the active on the item is great to chase kills, especially in longer lanes. With superior wave clear, LeBlanc can also move from the side lane and join her team to force picks, especially with this build that can burst with Gunblade active and Lichbane passive. Overall, it's likely we will continue to see LeBlanc show up. Even though her solo queue stats aren't the best, they have definitely been improving over the last weeks. In professional matches, the added wave clear on 7.5 is an attractive trait to gain control of the map from mid lane through translating push advantages into roams or invades. In addition, the mobility and the catch potential from her kit that were already present are also very strong. That's going to be it for today. Let me know if you enjoyed it by leaving a like on the video, as it helps us a lot. See you next time.